This video will be divided into 2 parts. One part will be me talking about my personal top 10 favorite albums of this year. And then part 2, I'll be going over what you guys picked as your favorite album of 2024. And seeing if I agree or disagree, and to explain why or why not. Anyway, you get the idea. Let's get straight into the video. This year has sure been a year for music, okay? They're one of the best ones we've had for a long time. Now, technically, I did already make a video about my top albums of this year, but shh, that never happened. Mainly because, well, we got more albums since August, so. And also because I changed my mind on some things, and I did, make my list bigger, so that's one thing. Some opinions will stay, some opinions will change, but let's just get right into it. Starting off with number 10, Bando Stone in the New World by Childish Gambino. I think I personally have grown to really like this album after every listen. It's definitely a blend of many genres as an experimental record with hip-hop, pop, R&B, rock, just all kind of smushed together. Experimental albums typically are really hard to master and, have it sound good. So you really need to know what you're doing when you're making an experimental album just in general. But, I can say our boy Donald here has done a fantastic job at making it, sound great. It's an overall enjoyable listen with little to no inconsistencies. So I liked it. Number 9 is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. Now, I remember I was in the car, I was going on a road trip, and somebody added me on Discord, and they were like, yo, Kendrick dropped, and I'm not gonna say I freaked out, but I was like, really? There was some talk about a Kendrick Lamar album coming out in 2024, but I never expected to hit it out of the blue. Not his best work by any means, but I think overall it carries out pretty nicely. Track list is great too. I mean, there's definitely some highs with songs like Man at the Garden and Gloria, but there's definitely some lows as well. Songs like GNX and Squabble Up are, definitely on the lower end. Again, not a bad album by any means. It's just very easy to critique an album like this when, Kendrick has made so much greater stuff in the past. That's why if I'm seeming a little negative, that's probably why. It's good. It's not grand, it's not great, but it's good. It's a good album, okay? It's a good album. Number 8 is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. Now, Hit Me Hard and Soft is just one of those albums, right, where you just gotta sit down, listen to it in full, okay? And once you're finished it, you just gotta sit back and be like, wow, it's so well put together. I have mentioned in the past that I'm not a big Billie Eilish listener. She's not on my speed dial of artists to listen to, but I just can't get over how well thought out, how well put together Hit Me Hard and Soft actually is. Easily a no skip album, instrumentals, drums, and just overall thematically, it's great. And it's hard not to come back to it every once in a while. I could say Billie Eilish has done a fantastic job at making a clear and concise album. And pretty much most people can enjoy this, okay? Even if you aren't into Billie Eilish in general, there's gonna be something out of this you can take away from and enjoy yourself. Number 7 is Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. Again, Schoolboy Q is yet another artist I don't listen to that often, but Blue Lips is definitely one of the more impressive albums I've seen from this year. From the introspective sounds to the kind of catchy feeling you get to these songs. I mean, most of them are pretty fast paced, so they're really catchy. It gets you replaying some of them over and over again sometimes. I have said this before and I'll say it again. I think Blue Lips is a solid definition of what hip hop is. There's a little mix of other stuff too, but just as a hip hop record, it's awesome. It's great. Liminal Space by MXM Tune. Now, this album was an album that I first listened to just because I had nothing else to do. I saw that it came out and I was like, sure, we gotta fill the void. But upon listening to it, first listen, okay, I came to actually really enjoy it. For an artist like MXM Tune, Liminal Space is actually really impressive. It really is. Her best work by far. And seriously, I actually enjoyed this a lot. I really have. You know, it's not gonna blow everybody out of the water because it's a chill indie pop record, okay? Not everybody is going to like this. But for its intended purpose as a chill indie pop record, it just kills at its intended purpose. It does a fantastic job. Again, like I say, for an artist like MXM Tune, Liminal Space, she's done a terrific job. Overall, very pleasant listen. I really enjoyed it. Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this blew me away. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. It's not even a genre I listen to. A synth/alternative pop record isn't, you know, again, I don't have that genre on my speed dial here. So for this type of music to make it up to my top 4 best albums is impressive. That's how you know it's good. Imaginal Disc is just, I mean, man, you go through so much. It's incredible. Similar to Mr. Glover's album, it's experimental and it's just so refreshing. It's something you've never heard of before. Extremely well done. Very great production. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that believes this. So yeah, I definitely give this one a listen whenever you can. It's pretty solid. Vultures 1 by Kanye West, Ty Dolla $ign. Yes, this is definitely one of my more controversial takes. Not many people are going to agree with this. But listen, I'm not going to apologize for it. I think most people, like, collectively should at least agree that the production is pretty good. If you have Swizz, Peggy, 88 Keys, Ty and Ye themselves, I mean, and more, I mean, you just have these high-profile producers. I mean, it's gotta sound good. It's solid musically. You know, let's take lyrics out of the picture, okay? Musically, it's a pretty good listen. It's solid. Again, like I said, I feel like it's raw. I feel like it's real. The work on the 808s specifically are fantastic. You get something a little different in each track. I feel like each track is almost, you know, completely different in a sense. So it kind of keeps you refreshed from start to finish. But yeah, I mean, we're running low on time, but for time purposes, Vultures 1 is number 3, okay? I don't care. I Lay Down My Life For You by JPEG Mafia, in my opinion, stands out as one of the best experimental hip-hop albums I've ever heard, period. No, I mean, not even just this year, just in general. Just an overall incredible listen. And you know, I would even go so far to say that I Lay Down My Life For You is close to Yeezus level. I know. And I would never say that lightly at all. I never would. That should be saying something about this album. Production is just out of this world. I mean, you're hearing stuff you've never heard of before. Introspectively, lyrically, I mean, oh, and by the way, Peggy does all these things. He's a songwriter, producer. This guy does everything. This album is like literally ear candy. It's candy for the ears. Now, it may not be the most consistent between tracks, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. Very enjoyable, and it's certainly clear that Peggy knows what he's doing. I mean, his last couple albums have been doing very well. Clearly, he's the underdog, and we can only look up higher to this guy. I mean, he's doing really well, and I think it's gonna work out for him a lot, actually. Loss of Life, number 1. I've said it before, and I have not changed my mind on this one. With many great albums that have come out this year, I don't think any of them fit in the shoes of Loss of Life by MGMT. I just don't think so. This indie rock album it's just something for everybody, seriously. It has everything you need in an album, and it never gets boring. You know, tracks, you know, they're the same style, same format, but I don't know how to explain it. It's still refreshing every listen, or every song you listen to. Production is just incredible. Man, you just have to listen to yourself. Lyrically, you know, emotionally, fantastic. Just out of this world. Just an overall consistent, pleasant experience to listen to. And I would seriously recommend it to anyone. That's just why it's number 1. Okay, anyway, that's it for me. We're gonna go over your top albums of this year and see if I agree or disagree. All right, let me pull up the IG, which is up there, by the way. Any Oasis album. I don't think they've put out an album since like 2005. Okay, 2008, but yeah, sure. So, Ron. Imaginal disc, yep. You know, solid take. I would take that as an answer. I wouldn't say it's the very best, but it's definitely impressive. A lot of people, you know, agree with imaginal disc. Obviously, of course, I just talked about it earlier, but again, I can't really explain it because I don't usually listen to synth pop a lot, but just for me, it was totally different, and I feel like it would be for most people. So again, like I said before, you gotta give it a listen. It's great. Vultures 2. Yeah, bro. 100%. Album of the year right here. It's great. It's awesome. Absolutely 10 out of 10. We absolutely love it. Hearthstone Psycho. You know, of course, Don Toliver, you know, existed in the rap scene for a while. I mean, it's not a shocker. And I think Hearthstone Psycho, you know, don't get me wrong, it's done great things for him. But just for me, I mean, I don't think so. When it comes to, like, okay, like, let's talk about what's so memorable about Hearthstone Psycho for a second. I loved Kryptonite. Like, if I could think of one track that really stood out that I really, really rock with, it's gotta be Kryptonite, hands down. It's awesome. But I feel like the album drags out like a little much. Tore Up, Purple Rain, I mean, those are stuff I rock with personally. I feel like Don Toliver hasn't hit that like status yet where someone like him could make a GOAT album. So yeah, not a terrible album, but I don't think so. Again, incorrect. Chromacopia. Okay, that's a good thing to bring up. Let's talk about Chromacopia. You may be wondering, right? So why is Chromacopia wasn't on your top 10? Why is that? The album was a disappointment. It was a total flop. Now, don't get me wrong. The 4-track run here, I forgot the names already, but the 4-track run here is awesome. It was great. But then after that, it just got a little weird. I get it. I like weird stuff. You know, Wolf, I love that album so much. That's a weird ass album, okay? But Chromacopia, just, I feel like thematically, it kind of talked about his struggles. Like, it was more of a one-on-one. He's not playing a character here. He's telling us how he's feeling. And I feel like the weird stuff he adds in there, it just doesn't correlate. It just doesn't match. Features were pretty terrible, actually. I cannot think of, there is no memorable feature. Lola Young, maybe, unlike him, you know, that's pretty good. But it's hard to think of anything memorable, at least in my personal opinion. Production's great. I mean, Tyler's really good at that. I don't see anybody talking about it anymore either, so I don't think I'm the only one here. So yeah, once again, not album of the year. Eternal Sunshine. Now, I'm guessing you don't want to see my reaction to that album. I'm guessing you don't want to see. Okay, but in serious note, I remember Ariana Grande putting this out start of the year, and you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not my thing. You know, it doesn't mean it's horrendous. I do think Ariana Grande has put out better stuff. Like, from what I've heard from her, like Thank You Next is a better album, and Sweetener's a better album. So from what I've heard, no real hate, because again, it's not really my thing. But as somebody who has listened to it, it's just not that memorable. So once again, After Hours by Weekend. Buddy, that came out 4 years ago. Party Never Ends. Absolutely not. Hearthstone Psycho, just for listenability. It's so sexy. No, never ever word it like that ever again. Like I said before, you know, you can listen to it, you can be like, oh, this is freaking awesome, but are you ever listening to it again? It's like that one Christmas present that you listen to and then you never touch it, like after like 2 days. Just be honest. I mean, it's December now. I don't think anybody's listening to it anymore, at least in my opinion. Chromacopia, I kind of already explained that, and again, I don't want to be mean about it. It just didn't hit. Something I didn't mention before, expectations for this was really high. I mean, the expectations were huge. When he dropped the freaking trailer for it, I took the internet by storm. People were like, this is gonna be album of the year, and it just didn't succeed, in my opinion. Anyway, well, that's all that. And I think that's going to be it. As we're entering 2025, I got some new stuff, okay? It's going to be so good. It's going to be a good enough reason to have you stick around. So again, if you are new, maybe drop a sub. Maybe. So yeah, but anyway, I think we're all ready for the new year. Let's have it to 2025. Peace.